Okay, well, welcome. And tonight we're going to do a very quick, easy dinner. This is one that you can throw together and be ready to serve in a very short amount of time. The longest portion of this is going to be the sweet potato part of the dish, but we're going to do a grilled salmon, grilled asparagus, and a roasted sweet potato. And the sweet potato we're going to roast with some butter, flavored olive oil, and then drizzle it with some cinnamon pear when we're done, right before we serve it. The asparagus we'll also toss in some butter, olive oil, and grill that. That takes literally 2 minutes, and the salmon is going to take roughly 10 minutes to cook. So this is one of these where you can come home from work, get the potatoes roasting in the oven, kind of decompress, get some other things done. Half hour later, come back and do the rest of your dish. Everything will come together at the same time and you're ready to eat. So just in the sake of saving a little bit of time, I peeled most of this sweet potato just for the sake of this, but regular potato peeler, peel the rest of it. And then you can literally cut these up any way you'd like. If you want to cut them into French fry-like strips or cubes, however you want. I tend to do about a 3/4 to 1 inch cube, and your raw sweet potatoes are a pretty firm animal here. But I'll usually cut those lengthwise like that, and then just come down so we end up with some chunks, and they're not going to be exactly square and uniform, and that's just fine. But same thing, we're just going to throw all those into a roast little pan. Anything you want to roast them in your oven is fine. Butter flavored olive oil. You're going to actually want to put a little bit more of this on than you really think you should, because as they cook it is going to absorb some of this. So, and partway through cooking, if you open up your oven and it looks like they're kind of dry, just drizzle a little bit more on, back in, give them a quick stir, and back in the oven. So we're going to throw those in there. Have your oven preheated to 375. And we're going to go about probably 35 to 40 minutes on those, depending on your oven. Now, when you're ready to get the rest of these ready to go, asparagus. Okay, asparagus should be firm and not droopy. But when you get your asparagus from the store, you just want to grab these about halfway up, bend them till they snap. This is the part you're going to eat. This is going in your compost. Same thing. So we're just going to, wherever they break is where you want them. Okay, so we got a plate full of asparagus here. Same thing, we're just going to drizzle those with a little bit of butter and with a little bit of kosher salt, black pepper if you like, and as much as you like. And just kind of have those ready to go. Now, salmon. Just buy some nice Atlantic salmon. Fresh salmon should have a very neutral taste, neutral flavor when it's raw. So when you open this up, it should not smell like a can of tuna fish. It should just have a nice oceany smell to it, and it should not look or feel slimy. But very, very easy to find good quality salmon in Kansas City. Now with the salmon, we're going to drizzle that with some of the blood orange olive oil. And just get a good drizzle on that. Now I'm doing just a stovetop grill, as you can see here, on a gas stove. And you can also do these in your oven. You could put them in you could do it on top of the stove in just an iron skillet, or a good thick fry pan. Or you can actually do the iron skillet in the oven and pan roast your salmon in the oven. Or you can do it on top of the grill. And all I'm going to do is kind of flip these things around so I get oil on both sides. You should hear a nice sizzle when you first put those on the grill. And we'll get those going. Okay, now like I said, the salmon's going to take about 10 minutes. The asparagus is going to take about 2. So we're going to wait until the salmon is just about done. Okay. The other thing is, Don't move your salmon around. Let it cook. Let it do its thing. A lot of people tend to get a little antsy and they think they need to be lifting it up to see how it's cooking. And you don't need to do that 1 minute into the process. It's not done, trust me. Okay? So that one's going to take a while. So, but 10 minutes should do the trick. Now, one of the things that I've seen people do for years and years and years is they get very nervous about fish and they think that it's going to be the end of the world if the fish is undercooked. And to compensate, they overcook. And then fish is dry and they don't enjoy it. So, err on the side of undercooked. You can always throw it back on the grill, cook it up a little bit more. Thing is, a properly cooked salmon is going to look like it's cooked to about medium, but it will be fully cooked. Okay? So, now you can tell if you look, you can see in here, this will start to kind of turn a little bit white and lighter color as it starts to cook. And if you can find salmon that still has the skin on it, I recommend that. And you start cooking it skin side down. The skin helps to retain some of the moisture, and you can actually cook it a little bit past halfway through from the bottom side before you flip it, and then you just have a shorter cook time on the top. And the other thing is when you do go to flip it, you're able to slide your spatula right between the skin and the salmon, lift the salmon right off the skin, flip it onto another part of the grill, toss your skin in the trash, good to go. Salmon we happen to get tonight already had the skin removed. Not a big deal either way. So, the other thing is make sure your grill is seasoned, and by seasoned I mean oiled, so that your fish doesn't stick. It's going to stick just a little bit, and that's why I'm kind of just delicately feeding my spatula underneath here. So, and then we're going to just turn it over very carefully. You want to maintain these grill marks just for presentation's sake. There we go. Now, believe it or not, the salmon is already within 2 to 3 minutes of being done. So, since I do have 4 of these on here, I need to make room for my asparagus. Get that out of the way. Okay. Now, asparagus is the other thing that people tend to overcook. A lot of people don't like asparagus just because if you ask them, they'll say, well, that's slimy. If it's slimy, it's because it's been overcooked. Okay, and especially on the grill, asparagus does not take long at all. It'll take even less time on your backyard grill than it does here, but we are only going to cook this. I'm just going to let it sit on the grill. When it starts to cook, what's going to happen is you'll see your asparagus, it looks like it's starting to sweat. You literally have drops of water starting to come out of it, and it may blister a little bit, and that's exactly when it is almost done. So, right as it starts to sweat over here, all I'm going to do is come in here, lift it very flatly, turn it over so that it just gets the other side, give it about another minute, and it's done. Cooked asparagus is still going to be crisp. It's not going to be as crisp as a raw carrot. You're going to bite into it though, and you're going to feel that crispness to where it's not just, you're not going to be biting through jello, you're biting through a vegetable. But properly cooked, that is what it will be like. Now, get this out of the way. Grab a plate. Okay, now, potatoes should be about done. So in about the last 5 to 10 minutes of cooking the potatoes, we're going to just hit those with some Cinnamon Pear Balsamic. back in the oven. Let that kind of cook in. We will see how the asparagus is doing here. As you can see right here on this one, I've got a little bit of a grill mark going on. Hopefully you can see it shiny. That's the moisture coming out. In good shape. Same thing here. Go carefully. Turn those over. Okay. Now I'm going to take one of these salmon off and bring it into camera here. Kind of show. Okay. Now you can see how we're a little bit pinkish still here. That is truly perfectly cooked at that point. Get these up here. These on the plate. Some of our roasted sweet potatoes. Right there. These things almost smell like a pumpkin pie. I mean, and asparagus. Dinner.